Good evening. Yeah, when Rick says Mr. Tan is my father, Mr. Tan, I'm the son. So this testimony is his. And when I'm reading his testimony for him, when he says I, he's not referring to me but him. Okay, here it goes. I'm here to testify about how God saved my life. Close to midnight on 20th March this year, I suffered a major heart attack that could have been fatal. As I laid to sleep that night, I suddenly felt a discomforting tightness of my upper chest and neck area, a sensation I have never felt before. On discussing with my daughter Christy and a call with my son Sam, they decided that I should go to A&E immediately, suspecting a possible heart issue. But that night, my Lord Jesus went ahead of me. Despite several unwise decisions made through the incident, He provided everything I needed and saved me. Mistake number 1. My son came immediately and brought me to Tan Tock Seng A&E. On hindsight, calling an ambulance would have been a wiser decision. My son's car is not equipped with anything to handle any emergency. Even his radio does not work. But when I first phoned him, apart from saying that he will fetch me, he asked me to take an aspirin immediately. Thank God for that. I survived the car ride in his car. In fact, it worked so well that when I arrived at the hospital, the A&E doctor found my cardiogram rather unremarkable and treatment was not further needed. The doctor simply requested for a blood test and asked me to be warded for observation. I believe the aspirin had prevented further attacks. My son later told me that he was very sleepy, but somehow he was led to suggest taking an aspirin. I believe God had prompted him and I survived that mistake. Mistake number 2. My son drove to the wrong A&E entrance. As such, I had to walk about 60 to 70 meters to the A&E entrance. As it was off hours, all wheelchairs were kept already. I was feeling very weak and they had to help me walk. But as we walked through a sliding door, to our surprise, there was this one lone wheelchair sitting in the middle of the passageway as the door slid open. I believe the Lord had provided that wheelchair for me because it was even facing the direction of the A&E. My children quickly had me seated and pushed me to the A&E. Thank God for His provision. When I arrived at the A&E ward, it was unusually quiet and I was able to be attended to by the staff and doctor almost immediately. I believe my Lord Jesus had gone ahead and to prepare the wheelchair because after me, there was a sudden rush of new A&E cases. Thank God. Mistake number 3. The rush of new cases delayed my admission to the general ward and I was left waiting in the corner of the A&E. At that point, suddenly, I felt a sharp tightening of my upper chest and neck areas again. Only this time it felt worse than the earlier one at home. And the pain was rapidly increasing. My son immediately looked for an available nurse. Even though everyone was very busy, he found one. This time he did better. The nurse observed that I was turning pale and gasping for air and was losing consciousness. She quickly pushed me into the emergency treatment room and got the doctor to attend to me again. Another ECG was done, and the doctor observed that it was very different from the earlier one, an onset of a heart attack. The standby heart specialist team was immediately activated, and it so happened they were not attending to any cases at that point, and was therefore immediately available. They then activated the operating theatre staff and pushed me into the theatre for an emergency procedure. It was around 1:30 a.m. The team worked through the night. At around 6 a.m., the surgeon came out, told my children that the procedure was successful. An old stent that was inserted 11 years ago had collapsed. They did a ballooning procedure on it and inserted another stent below it as that segment had also constricted. My other artery was already not functioning and the third was running only at 50%. The intervention was timely and it saved my life. On hindsight, if I had been pushed out of the A&E promptly, it would have been fatal as there was only usually minimal staff and facility at the general ward waiting area. I believe God had arranged a rush of new A&E cases to be after me, such that I stay on at the A&E and I was safe. Thank God for that.
Despite several wrong decisions made that night, the Lord Jesus Christ went ahead of me and prepared everything I needed and saved my life. My children, Sam and Christy, later remarked that watching the drama unfold at the sideline is like watching God's hands at work live from the front row. You see, so none of my bodily function had been affected. And today I have the opportunity to stand here to share my testimony with you people, with the brother and sister. And I pray that this testimony will strengthen your faith in the Lord's unfailing love, just as it had strengthened ours. All glory be to Jesus.